All right, so first of all, I want to say that I was designing this bag for myself. I don't really carry purses anymore, but I find myself in need of one. So I wanted to make a small, kind of hippie style, messenger style purse with a flap. And this is the concept I came up with. And I pretty much did end up following my concept ideas. So you see, I've got this folded over one way and then folded over the other way. And I've measured out a little extra for that flap, and then you should have something kind of shaped kind of like a cross when you open it all up. And this is the strap, and you'll be able to find the directions on how to do that in the video that I did a few years ago. It'll be right there. This is the pocket. I like to use a lined pocket. It just seems so much sturdier to me. It's not as floppy. So this is the lining piece, which I will not be putting interfacing in. This is the outside piece that does have interfacing ironed onto it. And we start off by sewing all three sides of that pocket, and you see I've got about a 1/2 inch folded down there on the top, and that's just so it comes out nice and neat. And once I've got that sewn, I turn it out and turn it right side out, and I'm gonna press it off camera, and then I'm going to stitch 2 lines across the top. I just like doing 2 because I think it makes it look a little neater. And then you'll see me add the pocket onto the lining piece. In hindsight, I wish I had pressed it onto the piece with the flap on it, because it would have made more sense. This makes it on the inside of the kind of the front of the bag where the flap touches, but it still turned out fine. And I just eyeball the measurements. It's not that big of a project, so it's pretty easy to get it close to the center. And I'm going to sew around all 3 sides, and I do a double line on the bottom of the pocket just to keep it nice and sturdy. All right, so now we're going to join the sides together, and I'm going to do that on the lining and on the outside. And you'll just see me join each side together. Y'all be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I do have a new page on Facebook, and if you want to go there and like my page and follow, I'll be putting little extras there whenever I can. I'm mainly using the Woke Up Crafty page. That Woke Up Crafty is my embroidering channel, and if you want to follow that, you can do that as well. All of those links will be in the description box below. This is a super easy way to have nice, neat corners on those bags. A lot of people are intimidated by the making the gussets, but this way. It always turns out neat. It doesn't matter how what type of bag I'm making. If I have the opportunity to do it in this one piece, all one piece kind of T-shaped or cross-shaped, the corners are just so nice and neat, which is why I wanted to do my own bag this way. I actually had a plan to do it with a different vintage linen. This is actually some vintage linen that I traded with an Etsy seller about 18 years ago, and I just have held on to so many pieces of it. She traded me, I think I was making soap at the time, and we traded my soap for some of her linens, and I have some absolutely beautiful vintage linens still in my fabric collection that she sent me. So the next thing I'm doing here is adding that strap, and you want to make sure that you have the wrong side of the strap, or the underside of the strap, laying on the outside facing up when you sew these. Just make sure you don't get anything twisted, and put that other piece on there and sew that on there as well. We're just going to tack it on so that when we drop that lining in, we drop that in the lining, it'll be nice and neat. And that's what you see I'm doing here with the right sides facing together. I'm just going to very carefully put everything together, and I will pin it off camera. It was just too much mess to do in that area. So I'm going to sew around those 3 sides of the bag itself, and then I'm going to do the flap. This is kind of tricky. It got to be a little annoying and time consuming. I don't think I would do the flap like this again. I think I would do the flap as a separate piece, just because the sewing part was really tricky with getting the lining and the outside together. Now I'm just going to clip around the rounded part of the flap, and I'm going to turn the bag right sides out, and then we're going to go over to the table and put the snap on. And this is your choice. You could do Velcro, you could do a different kind of snap, you could just leave the flap with no snap. But definitely for the snap, at this stage is when you'll want to add it. If you do Velcro, you need to sew that on before you complete the bag. So I'm just going to take some interfacing and put it on the lining side, and that just gives it some extra stability when you put that snap on. I would never ever recommend just putting the snap on top of raw fabric like that, because it's going to eventually gnaw through it and it'll make a hole in the bag. So anyway, there you have it. That is the bag. And I hope y'all enjoyed this little video. If you did, like I said, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and come back for more. I will be trying to post on this channel at least twice a month. I post on my embroidery channel about once a month. So yeah, there it is. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for watching. Peace, y'all. Bye-bye.